right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football Kopi Kakis, where we talk about fantasy football mainly. All right, and my name is Pio. As you can see, it's Palmer Pio. And today, as usual, we're joined by our gurus, Fonzy and Taffy. And welcome to Game Week 29. Today, where we won't waste any more time, we're going to do a deep dive into a very important game week, which is Game Week 29. So and we're going to talk about our winning strategy for this week.
Not so deep lah the dive. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. Let's kick things off with our player suggestions. So this is what we have. Okay, talk us through this, Steffi.
All right, so this game week is a special game week where we have blanks, and these are the teams that are playing. All right, and what we have done is we have categorized which games that we should highlight and which games we can avoid and which games that we must have. So let's go with the must haves first. So Ipswich Nottingham Forest, that's a must have for obvious reasons. So we need to have Nottingham Forest players. Wolves and Southampton, again for obvious reasons, although they are similar in position, but I think Wolves are definitely one or two notches above Southampton in terms of their abilities. And lastly, Man United and Leicester. So these are the teams that are in green where you need to have players from those teams. And on the left side, you can see the recommended players like from Nottingham Forest, Aina, Wood, Modern Gibbs White, and for Wolves, Ed Nouri, Jose Sa, of course, Cunha is not playing. And from at Man United, none other than Bruno Fernandes. And I mentioned Lindelof because I thought he had quite a good game against Arsenal, and it's only 4.3. So if he's still playing, if there's no news, if he's still playing, that is worth 4.3 defender for Lindelof. So those are the must-haves.
Okay, wait,
I
wait,
can
wait.
have
I got two questions for you first.
right.
So the first one is why are we avoiding Gabriel, Cucurella, and Raul and Son? Why are we avoiding these two games?
Okay, because they are a bit harder games to call. That
Hmm.
is just my guess.
So
Um,
50-50 lah.
so I think it's because Arsenal and Chelsea is a London derby, and I'm not sure how it's gonna who's gonna turn up. You know, what I mean, and Arsenal doesn't have a striker, and they have been keeping clean sheets, but Chelsea is also quite good going forward. So really, do not know where it's going on that one.
Mm,
But if you have to have players from there, then my
mm,
suggestion is Gabriel and Cucurella. Same with Spurs and Fulham. Again, don't know where it's another London derby, but if you need to have, then it will be Raul and Son.
mm.
But if you do not have those players, then there is no need to dive into those teams and get them now.
All right. Then why is Beto? Say, we know why Beto. You are a diehard Everton fan, but how about Haaland? Why is he a can have? Do we have
Okay.
Uh,
faith in him performing? Pure, go ahead.
Well, I think it's because Brighton are not exactly. Brighton seems to be a bogey team for the top teams, actually. They seem
Yeah.
to be able to hold their own, and they are a well managed side. And Haaland is not exactly in the best of form either. He's not
Mhm.
has the same prolific goal scoring prowess of the past season. So,
Mm.
and he is quite a bit, to be fair, to invest in this one particular game week as well. So
Mm.
that's the reason why I think we don't have to go out of our way to get Haaland if you don't have him.
Yeah, totally agree with Pio because Brighton, after that 7-0 defeat, they have won all their games. I think the last 5 or 6 games. So they
Yeah.
are quite a surprise package. And then
Mhm.
Man City has not been firing. Even Mamouche, some of us tried to have him in and then he got dropped out of the team. So Haaland seems to be spot on. But then again, the last week was also only 2 points. So I'm quite skeptical about this one.
Mm.
But if there's anyone that you need to have from Man City, that would be Haaland. Especially if you're free hitting, then bring in Haaland. But otherwise, don't have to have don't need to go out of your way. So hence is in the orange zone.
Speaking about Brighton, right, I've always liked Mitoma as an option, but not many people actually have him, at least within our leagues. I'm not really quite sure why, but he performs quite well. I don't know about his points performance. At the moment, he's still quite high at about 117 points for a Brighton player.
Spot on. Mitoma is actually one of those players that we can. He has just gone under the radar because everyone's just focusing on all the other players. But
Mm.
quietly, he's been returning at a consistent rate.
Yeah,
Every match, at least an assist or a goal. So, if you want to have him, it's a good try because Man City's defense is not exactly unpenetrable. So, Mitoma will definitely cause them some problems.
impenetrable. Okay, by the way. So then we move on to the
Thanks.
captain picks. Okay, why Bruno? Why Bruno?
Okay,
Why?
so this is what the data is telling us. Okay, so this
Mm.
is what, so we follow. Sometimes we need to follow data. It's not just about the right ball feel. So it's about, we do use data. So looking at the top transfers this week, Bruno Fernandes is in, obviously because of his free kicks, his goal, and many pundits out there are saying that he single-handedly is carrying Man United. Whether that's true or not, we can't disagree because his points return lately has been pretty good. So that would be my top option. And they are facing Leicester. I know it's against Van Nistelrooy, right? But I still think Man United will have too much for Leicester, and even if they don't, Bruno will be the one that is going to carry them forward, and I expect him to score another assist and a goal, at least in this game week.
Totally agree. I just watched Dead Poet Society, and Bruno
Ah,
is no captain, my captain. He's the
yeah,
one to
yeah,
go for.
yeah,
He's really, really the
yeah.
one to go for. He's the one that's driving the team as well. And if all else fails, Leicester has just been conceding goals like crazy. So he's
Mm.
a very good punch because he's on free kicks, and he's definitely a better bet right now to score penalties than Hui Palmer, actually.
Yeah. And I would
Yeah,
expect them to get a penalty because Faiz in Leicester, is it? Yeah, it seems to be
yeah.
committing quite a lot of ridiculous fouls. And
Mm.
Garnacho is playing there, so I think there is a high chance of that penalty going to Fernandez and him tucking it away. So that's why it's a big captain sign there. Alternatively, there are not many other captain options since Salah is not there, and I'm not going to captain Palmer, that's for sure. So he is definitely a big captain shout for this week.
Yes, and then suddenly next week, this is the week that he performs. The moment we get rid of him, he performs. Right now, we all lose hope in him, but we shall see. So the Forest players are quite obvious why they have been performing quite well, and they are facing a team that is leaking goals. So I guess it's no issue there. It's just a matter of whether you want to keep Palmer or not, whether you still have hope after weeks and weeks and weeks of holding on to dear hope. Okay. So other than that, let's move on to a cheap trick that we can use, or actually to be specific, a cheap strategy.
Hmm.
So talk us through this.
Okay, so this is Taffy's cheap strategy. All right, no pun intended. I've been looking through other videos and other data, and it's a huge headache what's going to happen. And some pundits try to predict what's going to happen in game week 33, 36, double, not double, big double, less double. So I'm trying to keep it very simple. We do not want, a lot of managers do not have the time. So this is the cheap strategy that I'm most likely going to use. Don't be afraid to use it. Sometimes we wait, and then finally, like Fauzan, like last year, at the end of the season, we have three chips and no place to use it. So start using it. Don't be afraid. So game week 29 this weekend, I'm going to start using my free hit. Yeah, and then put in all the players that I want. That means Palmer can be out. I can bring in Haaland. I can bring in Bruno. Without having to worry about getting a -4, -8. Don't be afraid to use it. Do it at game week 29. Now, this leads me to game week 32, which is getting ready for game week 33. Now, this is where I use it one week after another. I'm going to use wildcard at 32 to bring my team and bring up my bench to make it the best possible, so that at game week 33, which is quite a medium sized double game week, I will play the bench boost to get the maximum points after wild carding at game week 32. So that makes sense. And then when I reach to game week 36, I'm going to do the triple captain because there is another potential double game week there. Now, some may ask why not bench boost at 36. I'm worried because by the time it reaches game week 36, most of the teams are already at the beach, and you do not want to bench boost. You may get a lot of reserves playing at that point. So I will reserve my triple captain during that time. And there are some blank game weeks at game week 35, 36, and so on. But using free hit, wildcard, and bench boost allows me to save transfers, so that in case there is another blank which is not confirmed yet, 35 or 36, I would have already 4 or 5 transfers to use once I reach 35 or 36. So that's the rationale behind it. Hope it makes
Mm.
sense.
Pio, any thoughts to this? Do you agree with
I
it?
think it's a well thought out strategy. I like the last point particularly in what Taffy mentioned about the fact that the transfers are being saved so that you can roll all these transfers. And I think at this stage of the season, it's a very important move to make to keep your transfers so that you can be prepared for any surprises that the fixture calendar throws at us.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a quite a good strategy. I may follow something pretty close to this as well.
Mm. Okay, then I guess that's it. But let's move on to the very useful segment for me at
Hmm.
least, where these two just say, like experienced expert surgeons look at my team, diagnose it, and then after that provide prescription for what they suggest can be done. And then for me to make the decision whether I want to actually listen to them, or just like some of you, forget the advice of the expert and just wing it. Okay, so it is the help thousand segment.
Can
So
I
this
just
is
ask
my
you,
team.
Fauzan, do you listen to us last week to roll your transfer?
Well, more of a not changing team rather than fully listening
So
to
you
advice.
finally listened to us. Well done.
Okay, but my Hall is still inside as
How
you
many
Yeah,
can
transfers
tell.
do you have? 4?
For
Goodness.
it's like
You do not
Fonzy
need
is
to free
saving all
hit.
his transfers even now.
Yeah, well done. Game week 29, you do not need to free hit. You have 4 free transfers.
I can still free hit and use my 4 free transfers later on.
True, but
Mm.
maximum of 5 only, yeah?
Yes. So what should I do? Looking at this team, what do you suggest? Get rid of Palmer, get rid of Hall, obviously, and then after that
I'm not
bring
so
in.
sure about Raya as well
Mm,
because we've got one solid keeper in Becker, Alisson
mhm,
Becker. So Raya you may want to save some funds,
mm.
Hmm.
and the rest of the team looks quite solid to be fair.
I
Oh, but
don't
you
have
got not enough
forest
players.
players.
You have Pedro Beto.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to have Chris Wood. That's my take. So maybe that's why you may need to use your free hit, because then
Free
you
hit,
get back
right?
your
Yeah.
Isak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get. I mean, take a look at our list earlier. Those are the players that you need to get in, especially the must-haves. You need to get in your Wood into your team. You need to get Bruno Fernandes into your team.
Morgan Gibbs White and Aina.
Maybe, yeah.
Mm. Or maybe
And
Ed Murray, depending.
yes, some Wolves player, or you can get Jose Sa as well as your keeper.
Mhm.
So these are the options. So actually, a free hit would be a good
Yeah.
thing to
Mm-hmm.
do, because then this team can be returned to its original state with 5 transfers at game week 30, where you can then use it to get ready for the double game week 32, 33, and to bench boost.
But
I know
but
it
you
looks like I
still
planned it, but to be honest, I didn't. It just happened the way it happened.
You
It is
just too lazy to do any transfers, right?
it's just a no, no. I was advised not to do transfers.
Mm,
Remember?
mm.
Mm.
but you still have your wild card as well, right?
I have a
All your chips.
total. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
wildcard, free hit, and your triple cap.
yep. I have that too.
Oh, okay.
And bench boost. I've not used anything except for the assistant manager chip.
I think
So
at
that
game week
means
36, we are going to have this conversation, and he will also tell you that he still have all these four chips with him.
uh, that's why I'm the differential man, and that's why I'm
That's right.
working with you guys on
That's
in
right.
this segment. Hopefully, listening to some of the advice that has been given, it will turn out to be much better this time around. We shall see. We
Mhm.
shall see. Okay, so I guess that's the advice for the teams. Okay, so far, and we hope that you enjoyed the segment, this game week. Oh,
Wanna
yeah.
just wanna have a shout out to Eat Eric Ezekiel for giving us feedback and continuing to support us and promote us, and for even
Yeah.
trying to look us up on Google.
Mm. Appreciate the support and appreciate the
The
advice,
advice.
comment on how we can improve. Please do let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear. Our advice is not always the best, but it's always funny and entertaining, and you can always take it with a pinch of salt.
Mm.
Mm.
With a
And also thank
spoonful
you
of
for the
salt.
people who say that they tune in and they benefit from our advice at the same time.
Yes, yes.
Continue to tune into that, and thanks for encouraging us.
Okay, so with that, let's close for this week. We wish you all the best as we enter game week 29. Please remember to change your teams.
Don't
And
forget the
as
free hit.
usual, yes, yes. I'm reminding myself to change my team, my free change my team. Okay, so Taffy, your three favorite words.
Right. Click like, share, and subscribe, and we will
Mm.
see you in the next one.
All right, take care. Bye bye.